Hey, yo, 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 it's your boy Reese coming back on the Stone Fence. And I just wanted to get on here and talk with y'all about something that's just kind of been on my heart, something that I struggle with a lot. What that is kind of the feeling that with the current state of social media and how it's so easy for just about any and everybody to get on here and share their opinions and give whatever perspective and point of view that they want to, that my words, or that you could feel that your words could get lost in an echo chamber of just so many voices. Even though I know that I have a commission to get on here and speak what God has taught me, has shown me, things that I've learned over the years, perspectives, it's really easy to get down and feel like, well, there's so many voices. There's so many people that want to be heard. And you can very well easily disagree with a lot of them. I know that I find myself disagreeing with a lot of people that's on on internet today. A lot of people, either they just be saying stuff that's just not true, especially in the church. You have a lot of people that's speaking out of their flesh. You got people speaking about demonic objectives and being demonic agents out there. People that straight up witches. People that straight up warlocks. And it's so much that I know for me, it feels like, why would I throw my rocks into the pond? And, the verse that comes to mind is, don't throw your pearls among swine. And something that I just wanted to share for anybody that listen, that, you might feel a call, that you might feel that you should, that you have something to say, that God has given you a certain perspective, is don't worry about the echo chamber. Because truthfully, I didn't look into it to see the exact number, but there's roughly between 7 and 8 billion people on this planet. And with there being 7 to 8 billion people on this planet, it don't matter realistically how many people throw whatever they have to say in. Because if God had told you that what you are saying is important, if God told you he needs you to speak up, if God had told you about something that you should throw your input on, then that is more than enough reason to go ahead and do that thing. And please know I'm speaking to myself, because, boy, it'd be rough, because I don't like speaking when I feel like my words aren't valued. And I don't like doing things where I know that it'll be seen as I'm trying to be greedy. And a lot of people nowadays do social media not to inform the people, not to help or instruct the people. It is to gain, because the internet has become a very lucrative space. We watch folks like Kai Cenat, I Show Speed. Shoot, even in the church space, we watch so many of these pastors get up there. Some of these so-called prophets get up there and they share their input and they say whatever they're going to say, whether it's of worth. Obviously it entertains. It does what it does because people watch these people. But when you see that, I know for me, it makes me really disheartened, because I feel like, well, not totally, because I'm not a hater. I don't feel disheartened in a way like, oh man, these people suck. Why should they be on there? But in a lot of respects, I feel like if they're able to do that, and that's all it takes for them, and now they have influence. But the people that I know that's really out here pushing truth, that's really out here preaching God's word, that's really out here trying to live a holy or righteous life, trying to be objectively true. When I see those people get like the shorter end of the stick, it for me winds up playing back almost to a way like, well then what even is the purpose for me to do it? But just like I said, if God had given you that word, if God had told you to do that thing, that's more than enough of a reason to do whatever he told you to do. It reminds me of a revelation that God had given me one time, where of course everybody knows about the parable of the talents, where the master had called in 3 servants. One he gave 5, another he gave 3, and the last one he gave 1, and he left. First nugget of wisdom that God had showed me about this was when he gave them the talents, he didn't give them the talents and said, okay, I'm finna leave. I want you to do X task with them to get a larger gain by the time I come back. He just gave it to them and then left. Second nugget that he gave me on it. So we know next, the one with 5 turned it to 10. The one with 3 turned it to 5, and the one with 1 took it because he was scared of his master, dug it into the ground so he wouldn't lose it. So when the master came back and he asked for those 3 servants to get a report of to see what they had did with what he had gave them, he blessed the first 2. He said, here's a part of everything that I'm over for their good work. And to the third one, he called a wicked servant. He called a wicked servant, and he said, what was the reason that you have done this? And the servant had said, well, I know that you're a stern man, reaping where you have not sown. And another thing, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what it said, but pretty much what it boiled down to is like, I know because of the type of person that I knew that you are, I was scared to do something against you, so I didn't do anything at all. And what God had shown me that it's a lot of people, because you don't want to be perceived a certain type of way, because you don't want your name to come into a certain light, because you're uncomfortable with what would come with a certain thing, you wind up becoming like the man with the 1 talent that buried it into the ground, not understanding with what the master said next after the servant had said that. The master had said, if you knew this, should you not have put the talent into the bank? So at the very least, it could have collected interest. That means this was a certain period of time. If y'all know how banks work, interest don't accrue over just a few months. This is normally that happens over like some years' time. And what God had shown me about the bank is that, here's a question that I have for you guys. Where is your money right now? 9 times out of 10, every month, all your money, all your like ones that will pop up as any type of digit would be in the bank right now. None of you guys are just walking around with your whole life earnings in cash. You guys all have your monies in the bank. That's where it's supposed to be. So if you guys, so let's just relate it to this. If you know that you are an effective communicator, that you know that you can distribute certain ways of thinking, some certain words correctly and in a very good way, then why not at least use it where it's supposed to be? Are you trying to learn how to teach? Are you trying to learn how to deliver your words to become more effective communicator in your family? At least you can use it there. But even past that point, he said, I understood that you were a man that sowed where you did not reap. And this is showing, not that because God created everything, so technically, he reaps where he's sown. But when this refers to God, I believe realistically, if he has put in a certain gift, a certain gifting, a certain talent in you. It's funny that, in the English, talent, it literally means like, the gift and the things that you're good at. So if God has given you a certain talent, a certain gift, he is expecting a return on his investment. He's expecting you to make something out of it. He's expecting you to show up where others have not shown up. And I hear a lot of pastors say, you have to sow seed in the ground. Not like, they kind of twist this and make it a whole nother thing. But, you have to put seed in the ground for God to bless. Because if you don't put any seed in the ground, what is God going to bless? But I believe the principle of that is very much true. That you have to give something for God to bless. You have to put in a certain amount of work for him to supernaturally breathe on it, to supernaturally do something that could benefit you, could benefit others. Every single man of God in the Bible were men of action. And I just want to speak to the person that's like me, that who is just like how I was 20 to 30 minutes ago, fighting internally about getting in front of this camera. If God has given you a task, do it. And I can't come from no point of expertise, because I'm still walking this out too. But I just want to be an encouragement to somebody that knows that God has an intent for you. God has a plan for you. And his plan is through your obedience to the thing he's already told you to do. It's not going to come through anything else. I remember even one time in prayer, God literally told me, I will not let anything work for you until you do what I told you to do in the first place. And I believe there's people out here that God has told you the exact same thing. So even if you prayed the prayer, God, give me a sign. Lord, I just pray that for them, not because I want to hit any algorithms, but for them, for those people that's hard-headed, and you got to give them as much as they may need. Send this across their video feed on YouTube, or if they get a reel of any of this, that Lord, send this through to them so they will be sprung into action. They will be edified into their spirit to do the task and walk in obedience. Because faith without works is dead, and obedience is a work of good faith. If you truly have faith in the Lord, if you truly trust that he knows best, that when he tells you to do something, you would do it. Just like how with your parents, you know that your parents have good will for you. So most of you, if you're have a good relationship with your parents, if they tell you to do something, 9 times out of 10, you will do it just because you know they have good will for you, and anything that they tell you to do will normally be coming out of a good place, and it's even more so with God. Ooh. So that's just what I wanted to come on here to say, because I know it was a thing that I'm dealing with, and I just want to spur somebody up into action. I want to kick up the dust on that's been lying on a lot of you guys. I just wanted to spur into flames the passion that the Lord will give you for whatever thing that He has told you to do, even though right now the enemy or even your flesh could just be fighting you and grip you to keep you from getting and receiving the blessings of the Lord that He wants to have for you. As for me, I'm going to try to do this the right way. I'm going to try to walk out what I'm saying to you guys now. If you want to follow this ride as a stone fence, we're going to be eventually, as I'm learning, doing evangelism, talking about political situations, talking about things in the church, not as a react channel, because I feel like it's so easy to be a react channel, but I realistically just really want to get close to the Father's heart as I possibly can. Follow, subscribe, in whatever medium that this reaches you. Again, my name is Reese, and this is the Stone Fence. Catch y'all later.